All right, so this is essentially just a wrap-up lecture talking about some of the Singwin activities we did, and just a reminder for your final paper, if you have any questions, to contact me. But if you've been keeping up with the short assignments, you should be in pretty good shape. So again, submit all your papers to the D2L Dropbox, and that's where I'll give you all of your feedback, and I'll use the grading template to grade them and give you as much feedback as possible. But just a few things to think about. Again, one of the purposes of this course is to talk about the NASW specific codes of ethics and practice. So just a reminder of how does Single System Designs uphold the code of ethics, mostly just because we want to make sure that we're providing them with the best possible outcomes and the best possible practice. So we want to make sure that we're at least using a valid and reliable measure to help them to reach the outcomes that they're searching for. Single System Designs, again, typically don't take that much time. If you're in a crisis situation, you probably can skip it, but generally you want to try to keep a measurement or a track of their outcomes every time you're meeting with them. So just to review some of the lab exercises. So for Jim's autocorrelation exercise, just the first Singwin exercise, based on the client's baseline and intervention data in terms of standard drinks consumed daily, they weren't autocorrelated. And we can say that because the p-value is not below 0.05. This is a different test than a t-test where we're looking at a different p-value, but for the test of autocorrelation, these weren't autocorrelated, so we didn't have to make any transformations. However, during the second part of the exercise, the client's baseline data was found to be autocorrelated because the p is 0, 0, 0. So after applying the moving average transformation, the client's baseline was no longer autocorrelated, and now it's 0.10 because it's above that 0.05, so now it's not autocorrelated anymore, and now we don't have to do anything with it. All right, so for John's gambling exercise, part A, the baseline mean was 19.29, range of 15 to 25. So again, when we're reporting the mean, we also need to report the range, which is sometimes reported as the lowest score to the highest score, but we could also say the range was 10 here. The intervention phase, the mean was 7.14 with a range of 5 to 10 or a range of 5. All right, so John's gambling exercise continued. This is just the write-up. So John spent an average of $19.29 a day on gambling during the baseline period, and his spending ranged by $10 a day. Upon intervention completion, John's average spending on gambling was $7.14 a day, which represented 63% decrease in the average daily spending from baseline period. In addition, the spending during the intervention period was less variable and ranged by only $5 a day. So that represented a 50% decrease in the range from baseline to intervention. So we can see that there's less gambling and it's more stable too. Part B of John's gambling exercise, this is with the median. So here we've got a median of 20 with a range or interquartile range of 15 to 25, and an intervention median of 5 with an interquartile range of 5 to 10. All right, and for the 3 standard deviation band approach, the baseline data were autocorrelated. So after a moving average, you should have a p-value of 0.64, which is no longer autocorrelated. And after doing that, applying the 3 standard deviation band approach, we can see that there were at least 5 days that were below the lower control limit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days down here, which were statistically significant decreases from the baseline mean. So the write-up of this is the client experienced a statistically significant reduction in their cigarettes used that appeared to have some staying power during the intervention period relative to the baseline average. The significant reduction in staying power of the reduction can be seen in the corresponding 3 standard deviation band graph, where the client had a number of days in which his or her cigarettes use was below the lower control limit. All right, so for the t-test exercise, neither the baseline or the intervention data was autocorrelated. The client did experience a statistically significant reduction in their depression during the intervention phase relative to the baseline phase. And so how we can write that up is the client's depression score decreased significantly, which was 30.8 during the baseline phase to 25.1 during the intervention period. And this is how you'd write up the results of your t-test. And you would know that this is statistically significant because your p-value was less than 0.05. In this case, it's 0.02. And when you have a statistically significant outcome, you would also want to report the D-index. So the D-index here is negative 1.41, which is a 42.1% decrease in their depression score. So by the end of the intervention period, the client experienced an approximate 42% decrease in their depression relative to their baseline score. So this is a D-index of negative 1.41. And so just to wrap up, talking about short assignment number 5 here, I've got a write-up of this in my slides, but here I see during the baseline phase, it looks relatively stable, but I don't really see too much of a trend in either stage here, or in either phase here. But if we were to use the acceleration line, we could see that there's an accelerated rate of reduction. So our intervention phase looks like it helped to make a significant reduction in the number of standard drinks consumed in each of these weeks. What probably would be a little bit more accurate would just to be showing the mean lines, because there wasn't really a trend in the baseline or the intervention period. We could see that there was this significant decrease from 5.20 mean during the baseline to 2.83 mean during the intervention phase, which is a 46% reduction in number of alcoholic cravings during the intervention phase. All right, and just one last thought for the entire semester is please finish the course survey. It's going to be on the D2L homepage, so just take that survey. Any kind of feedback that you've got from me about the course or how things went for you would be really valuable so that I can try to improve it moving forward. Anything that maybe caught you off guard or anything that I could have done that would have been more helpful, anything that you can provide me feedback with would be really useful for not only me, but hopefully for your classmates moving forward. So again, thank you for a great semester, and wishing you all the best moving forward.